All right, stand by. Hard to hear you. They're playing Gloria over there, so it's a little loud, John Kingish. Looks like almost like a campaign rally. He seems to be getting into. They're playing the music, getting ready. Not necessarily a normal send-off.
No, it is not. Again, tradition is that the new president would walk down the Capitol steps with the former president and wish him well as he sent him off into retirement. We have watched that. Bill Clinton did it. It's just for George H.W. Bush. George W. Bush did it for Bill Clinton. Barack Obama did it as well. But Donald Trump wants to leave. He has done things his way from day one, and he is going to leave his way. As you know, Wolf, I'm sure you're getting the same. There are a lot of people watching who view this as such an important page-turning day. They don't want us to cover President Trump, soon to be former President Trump, at all anymore. Obviously, we can't do that. We have to watch this farewell. We will have to watch as he leaves the presidency. Can he still exert influence over the Republican Party? So when he is doing things that affect policy, that shape the Republican Party, we are going to have to cover him and watch the comeback. But now we're watching this most unorthodox farewell. And again,
John, you can see Jared Kushner, you can see Ivanka, you can see members of the family have already gathered over there. Eric Trump, you can see him there. Presumably all of them will be on Air Force One as well for this flight, less than 2-hour flight down to Florida.
And again, this is trademark consistency. He wants this to be about him. This is supposed to be a day about the country. It is supposed to be a day about the new president. And yes, partly a day of the soon-to-be former president respecting democracy, tradition, the peaceful transfer of power. But to the very end, Donald J. Trump, now still the President of the United States, just refuses to respect that, even as he is on one of the symbols. This is one of the symbols of American democracy you're looking at right there, Marine One. That's 747, Air Force One behind him. Any plane the President on is called Air Force One, but that is the plane that flies around the world, representing America's democracy. I remember being on that plane when George W. Bush flew into Iraq. Not trying to bring up the controversy of the Iraq War, but that the flag on that jet stands for America around the world. The next time, this will fly to Florida, and then it will return to Joint Base Andrews, and it will be a President Biden who gets on that plane next and travels the world with a very different agenda than the president he is replacing in 3.5 hours.
Kate Bennett is watching all of this very closely. What can you tell us about the family, the children who are there?
So as we just saw, the Trump kids are there. They're mostly, headed to different places. Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, there were moving vans spotted at their house just this week. They purchased a large, very expensive $30 million plot of land outside Miami. Where they head immediately is still up in the air. Sources tell me that the options are, of course, their New York City penthouse. There's a cottage for them at Bedminster. There's also lodging for them at Mar-a-Lago. Eric Trump and his wife Lara live in New York. However, Lara Trump's been mentioned as wanting to possibly run for Congress in North Carolina. And of course, Don Jr. and his girlfriend Kimberly Guilfoyle, again, more legs for the family in terms of the Republican Party that supported his father. Don Jr. has gotten very involved in politics and has sort of become the ringmaster of this Trump-centric Republican Party, the MAGA people, if you will. Barron Trump is leaving Washington with his parents, and they will return back to Palm Beach. He'll finish the school year there, I'm told. Melania Trump's parents, who were frequent visitors at the White House, spent a lot of time at Mar-a-Lago as well. They will be heading there. The quarters of the President and First Lady at Mar-a-Lago were recently renovated, expanded a bit to include more space for them as that becomes their permanent home. And we will look to see them land there later this afternoon. Wolf?
Yeah, the President and First Lady will be getting off Marine One momentarily now. Caitlin Collins is watching all of this very closely. What else are you learning, Caitlin?
Well, this is exactly how the president likes to show up to his rallies. He often picks a playlist. He tells aides to have the music blaring when he lands, and of course, that is what's happening right now. As the president is about to get off Marine One for the final time ever as president of the United States. And so he is going, his aides are there in addition to the family members that Kate was just noting. Dan Scavino, of course, his longtime aide, is on Marine One with him and the First Lady right now. But his Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, Stephen Miller, other aides are standing there. in the audience waiting for the president to make these remarks. But it is notable how much this looks like a Trump rally, whereas the president's family and top aides in the front row, and then some supporters as well, former campaign staffers.